Hi, my name is Leah. Today we're going to blanch fresh green beans. Now that's a method that is a very simple, basic cooking method. Once we get the green beans blanched, we're going to be able to use them in other side dishes. We're going to be able to put them in green salads, which I do all the time, or we're going to be able to serve them just like they are, blanched with some salt on them, which is really good if you haven't tried that. Okay, so do me a favor, like this video, subscribe to my channel, that'll help me out. Also visit the channel. I'll have other cooking methods, demonstrations, and I'll be making some of my favorite recipes. I like to do batch cooking and putting meals into the freezer so I have them later when I don't have time to cook. I like making mixes that I can, just add water to later when I don't have time to cook. Anything I can do to make things simple and easy and quicker than normal is what I like to do. So anyway, come along with me and let's get started blanching our fresh green beans. All right, so we're at the sink and we're going to start preparing our green beans by giving them a good wash, which I've already done, but the sink is very loud on the microphone, so I've washed them already. And what you want to do is you just want to go through your green beans and see if there are any that don't look good. I have this pile over here that was really small and didn't look very good, so those are going to go to my neighbor's chickens. And so what I'm going to do next is, now these are nice and long, which is nice, and that's usually how you're going to get them. So what I do is I nip the ends off, and then I cut it in half, and then put it in my bucket, or my bowl here to get ready to blanch them. Now these green beans, I did get these from our local grocery store. And you can pretty much get green beans all year round. But I've also grown them in my garden, and I kind of staggered them so that I would have green beans every week. I could get a new batch. And I cooked them all the time. These are one of my favorite vegetables. Green beans. So out of the garden, I will always grow these. And I put about 20 plants in because I like them to rotate out and I like to get them all summer long, but not all at once, of course. That would be way too much. It's just me and my husband here at home. My grown son, he does come back for dinner and Sunday breakfast a lot of times, but still we don't need 20 green beans plants all coming up for harvest at one time, so I do stagger those. Anyway, for these, for this demonstration, what you want to do before is go ahead and have your big pot of water on your stove boiling. We do need to get the water to a rolling boil. So on my stove right now, I have that pot going. Okay, so this is very simple. There's a lot of green beans here. This is probably a good pound. And if there are green beans that are really little, like I showed you in that bowl or in the sink when I started, if they're really little, I'll just throw them out. Like this here, this is going to cook way faster than the others. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw that out because I want everything to kind of come up and be done at the same time. Now blanching is, that one's okay, it's a little small. Blanching is a method that I assume has been around for years and years and years and years. Unfortunately, I did not learn this from my mother or either parent growing up. Unfortunately, they passed before I was able to get an interest in cooking and learn from them. So I did learn most of this stuff on my own, looking in cookbooks, finding other videos, and there are certain things I've been doing for many years. This is one of them. So it's actually very quick. I do like cooking things out of the garden, so this is one of my favorites. And blanching is, it works on other vegetables too. But today we'll do green beans, and then I'll probably try to do some other videos with other things you can blanch, or maybe we'll do a video of how we could use those in different things. Like I said, one of my favorite ways to use this is I will eat these just as they are, blanched with salt on them, which is excellent. If you haven't done that, I encourage you to try it. It's very, very good. It is one of my favorite ways. I'll also cut them into smaller pieces after they're blanched, and I will put them in green salads, which I like as well, because green beans in ranch dressing, that is a whole nother world. Okay, I see my pan and my bowl fell. It's okay. Get those back up there. Oops. All right, I'm a little messy here. We've only got one green bean left. Okay, there we are. So now we're ready to go to the stove. Okay, we're at the stove now. So we have just cut and washed our fresh green beans. We have our pot of water on the stove at a rolling boil. So that's where the bubbles are just continuous boiling. Stove is on high, my heat is on high. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to add salt. And when you're blanching, you want to add, let me open that up, you want to add a good amount of salt. I like a lot of salt when you're blanching. So over salt, if you're not sure, put some more in. Plenty of salt is good. Okay. That's not going to reduce your boil, so you should be good. The other thing you want to have on hand, now these are going to blanch for 4 minutes, I find is what I like. So what you also want is you want a bowl of ice water. Now I haven't put the ice in or the water in here yet. So it's going to be sitting on the side over here on my other burner, which is cool. And I'm going to just have it ready. So when these are almost done blanching, I'm going to fill that with water and then we're going to transfer them over. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, if you have a lot of green beans and you don't have a large pot, then you might need to do these in batches. You don't want to overcrowd them because we want to get them good and cooked, blanched, okay? So let's go ahead and just put these in. And my pan is big enough for the whole pot, okay? So now what you want to do is you want this to come back up to the rolling boil. And that might take a couple minutes, but just wait for it. It's going to happen. And just move those around. And you know it's a rolling boil when you stir it and it continues to boil. It's still bubbling. That's a rolling boil. Once we get to that point where the water is boiling again, then we're going to set our timer for 4 minutes. In 4 minutes, we're going to check it by taking it out of the water, putting it in the cold water, just one green bean, and take a bite of it and see if that's the tenderness or the crispness that we want. Crispness is what I meant to say. If that's what we want. If it is, then we're going to take it all and put it in the ice water. If it's not, we're just going to go another 30 seconds. Probably wouldn't need a whole minute, but maybe a minute. So anyway, we'll have to check it as it goes. So I'm going to come back when these have boiled for 4 minutes and we'll check it together. Okay, so we still got a couple minutes to go, but I just wanted to show you what this rolling boil looks like. So the foam doesn't matter, you're going to get that, but you see how that is, and when you stir it, the bubbles don't go away. Okay, that's a rolling boil. Okay, so we're going to keep that going for a few minutes. And over here, I have put water in my bowl of ice, so I'm ready to plunge those green beans as soon as they're done cooking and they're to the tenderness that I want. If we don't do that, they will continue to cook and then they'll overcook. So by plunging them in the ice water, it'll stop the cooking. It'll make the color nice and green. It'll be beautiful. And we'll leave those in there only for a minute or so, maybe 2 at the most. We don't want to leave them in too long. We don't want them waterlogged. We just want them shocked so they'll stop cooking. Okay, we're back. My timer has went off. So this has been 4 minutes at a rolling boil. So like I said, we're gonna take 1 green bean, we're gonna plunge it into the water. That's just to cool it off enough so that I can actually eat it. Actually, that's really good. Okay, that's fine. So I'm gonna turn my heat off. And now I'm going to strain these out, spoon at a time, and plunge it into the cold water. And I'm not in such a hurry because these are coming out the tenderness I like, but a little bit crisp. So even if it got a few more minutes in this hot water, it's not going to make a difference. It's not going to make a difference to the texture of these. So I'm not worried about rushing. There's only a few left in here. Okay, there we go. So all of the green beans now are in the cold water. So we're going to let this sit for just a minute. We just want the green beans to come to a complete stop cooking. You can see my ice is just about melted now. And then what we're going to do is get rid of this pot over on the back, and I'm going to get a clean kitchen towel and I'm just going to lay it on the counter. And now what I want to do is I want to take the green beans out of the water, put it onto my dish towel to dry. So the green beans have been in the cold water soak now for just about a minute. And now I'm going to take them out. Let as much of that extra water run out as you can, and then put them on our dish towel. We're doing this to kind of let them dry before we bag them up. Now I usually store these in just a Ziploc bag, but if I wanted to put them in the freezer, I would put them on a cookie sheet in one layer, and I would put that in the freezer until each individual green bean froze individually, separately. If you don't do that, then you're going to get a frozen block of green beans if you put them in before that. All right, let me get rid of this bowl. All right, so now we have them here on our towel. And before I pat these dry, I want to get them salted. Now this, to me, is kind of where the rubber meets the road. This is what makes these really good, in my opinion. I think that these salted green beans are the best. So I generously salt them because that's how I like them. And then I'm going to let them sit and I'm going to let them dry. But I want that salt to stick with them. Now I don't, you can turn them and salt them as well. I don't because I get enough on the one side. But we can turn them a little bit, put some more salt on, and let them dry that way. Which I didn't turn them very much, but the more salt looks good. Let me try one. That is just right. It's not super tender, but it's got a little tiny bit of crunch. That's really good. I'll tell you what, the salt makes this. Salted green beans like this, blanched, so good. I hope you try this. You're gonna love it. Okay, so we're gonna let this sit here for a minute. They're already cool, so we don't need to worry about that. But what I am gonna do is I'm gonna get some baggies to put these in. And like I said before, I will use these in side dishes. I have a country green bean skillet that I make, which is potatoes and green beans, sauteed onions and mushrooms, and it's really, really good. I'll have to make that video later and put that up on the channel. But this is the green beans I use. I don't saute the green beans in the skillet with everything else. I wait until the end. These are already cooked. All you have to do is put them in to warm up. So it's very handy. Now, if I were going to eat a green salad and wanted some of these, I would leave them just like this and put them in the salad. But a lot of times I'll cut them up even smaller than this, like half of this, just so they're bite size. And I'll eat them that way. And I've even done it to where, you know, like on the holidays where you have your big Christmas dinner. Now, in my house growing up, I never saw this. This wasn't anything we had. Our green beans came from a can, always. Our holiday dinners had green beans from a can and corn from a can, and that was our vegetable. Other than potatoes, right? Potatoes was on our plates every dinner. But so I've even done it to where the green beans, and I leave them long, and the green beans are a side dish for my Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner. And it's really good because it's so simple, it tastes so good, and it looks really beautiful on the plate too, to just have long green beans on the plate as a side. And it doesn't really take away from anything else, but it looks beautiful. So I just recently made a skillet lasagna that I make in bulk, and then I put in the freezer. In fact, we've already eaten 2 of those, and I only eat like 1 a week. So if I think I made 6, and we'll just pull 1 a week out. So that's 1 night a week I don't have to cook. And I will even pair this with the green beans and a piece of garlic bread, and it's excellent. It's a great dinner. Anyway, cooking this ahead of time, if you make a big batch of this, and then put them in your Ziploc bags, put them in the refrigerator, or if you're going to freeze them, do them individually, and then put them in your bags, label them, always put your date on, and then these are ready to go whenever you need them. So this is really good. This is excellent. So this is as simple as it gets. This is just a basic cooking method that everybody should know. I didn't know it when I was growing up. I didn't know it in my early 20s, and probably in my early 30s to mid 30s is when I learned this. And I was at a friend's house, and she had green beans. Actually, it was a coworker, and his mother was growing green beans, and she said, "Here, take some." And I said, I don't know what to do with them, so, you know, don't worry about it. She said, "No, I'll show you." And she showed me how to blanch, and I've been hooked ever since. So definitely try this method. I think you'll love it. All right, so what we're gonna do now is I'm just gonna get some baggies, and we're gonna bag these up. So I'm just going to use sandwich bags, because like I said earlier, it's just me and my husband around, usually for dinner. Sometimes my son will come over, and for whatever reason, if it's green, he doesn't really like it on his plate, right? And he's grown. So I always tried to sneak in green beans whenever I could when we had when I was cooking meals when he was younger. In fact, when I made stroganoff, I always put green beans. Back then it was canned green beans, and if that's all you have time for and that's what you have available, use canned green beans. I'm not against that, but I would always sneak them in. And so he loved the stroganoff, but if he had to eat the green beans if he was having stroganoff. So I would sneak it in different things. Okay, so I'm going to make 2 bags here. One I will probably definitely use for salad, because I just got all my salad stuff together. Okay, this little tong thing is a little irritating. All right, so what am I going to do? I'm going to use my hands. I'm going to get all these in this bag. Now, something else you can do with these that I've done several times is you can use these like carrot sticks and dip them into ranch dressing. Now, I like homemade ranch. The commercial stuff doesn't agree with my stomach very well, so I like to make it myself. And using this as just a snack, I have taken these to work before, just a baggie like this, and I'll have that for my break snack. And they're really good. I love to eat them that way. But if I have a little bowl of ranch dressing, oh boy, that is so good. So I encourage you to try that. Now these are going into the refrigerator. And these will be eaten this week. So I didn't make a big batch to put into the freezer. But like I said, if I wanted to do that, I would simply put them on a cookie sheet, one layer, put those in the freezer and let them freeze individually. Then I would do this step. Then I would put them in a Ziploc bag, label them, date them, and then I would put them in the freezer and I would lay them flat on top of each other. And they'll keep for quite a while that way. So that's how I would do that. These today are going into the refrigerator and I will use them this week. But since I have them ready, and today is Sunday, so it is a weekend, so I do work full time, so this is the whole reason for doing this kind of stuff, is I don't have time to cook all the, every day when I get home. I don't want to cook for one, but I don't have the time. So if I have things like this prepared ahead of time, then I can just pull them out. Now in my freezer right now, I have chicken Alfredo, I have meatloaf, I have lasagna, and I have chicken bowls that I pre-made on a different weekend and made them in batches, so I can just pull it out in the morning, put it in the refrigerator, thaw it out, and then I can stick a bag of green beans or whatever side I want, and I could put that in there, and then dinner's done. All I have to do is stick it in the oven, or a lot of times I'll use the air fryer, and dinner's ready. So it's a big convenience when you're working full time. So, and this recipe here is great because if you didn't learn to make this when you were younger from your mother or whatever, this is how green beans, this is the best green bean method to make it, I think. But I do it other ways too. So I'll make some more videos with how I use green beans in other ways. All right. Well, thank you. And again, like the video and help me out by subscribing. And join me for other videos. I'll link some other videos here at the end, and visit my channel anytime, and I will try to put up as many new videos as I can, as often as I can. Okay? Again, I'm Leah. Thanks for joining me in the kitchen. Okay. Have a good one. Bye.